On the news tonight, like EFCC's Bawa Abuja court sentences police boss Usman Al-Khalibaba to 3 months in prison for contempt. Federal government links fintech platforms, point-of-sales operators, and non-government organizations as accessories to terrorism financing in Nigeria. And President Muhammad Buhari seeks end to illicit arms flows in Lake Chad. It's a pleasure to have you join us to News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The Federal High Court in Abuja sentenced the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Al-Khalibaba, to prison for a period of 3 months for disobeying a court order. The presiding judge, Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon, issued the ruling on Tuesday following a suit filed by a former police officer, Patrick Okoli, who claimed he was unlawfully and compulsorily retired from the Nigeria Police Force. Delivering judgment, Olajuwon held that it is unfortunate that the chief enforcer of the law is one who has deliberately refused to comply with the same law. Earlier in November, Justice Chizoba Oji of the Federal High Court in Abuja convicted the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, for contempt, and ordered that he should be committed to prison at Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja. However, Justice Oji, in a subsequent ruling, set aside the conviction of Bawa after hearing an application brought by the EFCC chairman. Well, to discuss this further, Liberos Oshoma, legal expert, joins me now. Thank you as always for joining us. Now, the question everyone is asking is, who will bail the cat? But what does this development say of Nigeria's judicial arm, where the executive arm of government keeps disobeying court orders at will?
Thank you. It is frustrating, really, when the law enforcer becomes a lawbreaker, and it permeates from the top to the bottom of our society, where you see policemen take the law into their hands, and you see policemen that are supposed to be enforcing as little as traffic laws are the traffic law breakers. So this is not just starting today. Even we've had cases where attorney generals, disobey the laws, disobey judgment of court orders, and tell you that they are studying the court judgment. We've had situations where even presidents will violate court orders, and nothing will happen, because here they are supposed to be the ones to enforce these court orders. So, but I think I like this new development. Before now, what you hear was the fact that there is contempt proceedings, and consistently the IGP had been asked to come show cause. But starting from the case of Bawa, the court had taken it beyond that to now actually making an order, issuing an order for the arrest of some of these law enforcers. So at least it starts from making these orders for the arrest, and subsequently someday, we would have people who would be able to truly enforce these orders, and either carry out those orders to arrest the IGP, arrest the EFCC chairman, or even arrest an attorney general. But the first step is the courts are bold enough to make such orders in cases before where all that would have happened was that the contempt proceedings would die a natural death.
Now, I'd like to get your insight into this. Do you think this arrest now will be with immediate effect, or is it something we should look out for? Because in the case of Bawa, it took a while before he wrote an application to the judge, perhaps, explaining his side of things. But how do you see this playing out at the end of the day?
And that's why I said that the first thing is to make an order. But unfortunately, the person that is supposed to execute that order is the person that is ordered to be arrested. If you have a country where laws work, ordinarily the president would have immediately asked the next person in command to arrest the IG and ensure that that court order is enforced, and let the IG go cool off in Kuje prison for violating a court order of the law of the land. But unfortunately, we're in a country where orders are observed in breach. So the man who is ordered to be arrested, who will arrest him. But like I said, I like the fact that these orders are coming. Before now, they wouldn't have come. But I would like the fact that the courts are bold enough to make this pronouncement. Hopefully, maybe in the next dispensation, we would have a president that will be bold enough to say, if you violate a court order, no matter how highly placed you are, you should go face the music. So that is when we will bring sanity to truly our judicial processes, that when a court order is made, and that court order must be complied with to the latter.
Now I'm just letting of a quick update now to the issue. The IGP has reacted and he's saying that he's not aware of the court order. What do you make of this?
It is not in his mouth to say he's aware or he's not aware. The court an order had been issued. If the court, that's usually their defense. If the court grants an order for the arrest of Liboros Oshoma, for example, the IG will not be aware before the overzealous policemen will want to enforce that order, even without saying it. It has always been their defense that they are not aware of the same court order. They are never aware of it. So the question is, for the fact that you are not aware of the court order, does it invalidate the order? I am happy he didn't say that he's not aware of the court proceedings. So we are past that stage of him being aware or not. Now that he's aware of the court order, what has he done? He should walk to Kuje prison and take a room there first. Now that he's aware, whether he's aware of it or not, he's aware now that there's a court order. His lawyer probably would have obtained a CTC of that order. The court does not need to serve him the order. The Attorney General will be served with the order, and the Attorney General will be asked to also, ensure compliance with the order.
Well, there's this much you can take on the conversation, but it's still a wait-and-see situation. Liboros Oshoma, legal expert, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. President Muhammadu Buhari says weapons and fighters are already slipping into the Lake Chad region from Russia and Ukraine, heightening the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. Speaking at the 16th Ordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Lake Chad Basin Commission on Tuesday, President Buhari asked border control agencies and security services within member countries to stop the circulation of all illegal weapons in the region. Buhari added that although terrorist threats have been significantly decimated in the region, military actions alone cannot effectively win the war against terrorism.
Through the regional stabilization strategy and its implementing components, the people of the region affected by the scourge of Boko Haram have continued to receive the support they need towards ensuring that they effectively return to their normal homes. You will recall that consequent on the deteriorating security situation in the region, the extraordinary summit of the 15th December 2018 held here in Abuja directed the conduct of continuous operations to completely eradicate the scourge of Boko Haram terrorism from the region. I am glad to inform my dear brothers that in keeping with that decision, the multinational joint task force has since then successfully conducted 3 major operations: Operation Ancient Tafki 1 and 2, and Operation Lake Sanity 1, with the 4th one, Operation Lake Sanity 2, being planned. The next phase of the operation will take cognizance of lessons learned from previous exercises and effectively consolidating the gains attained by preceding operations.
While still on insecurity, the federal government has linked fintech platforms, point-of-sales operators, and non-government organizations as accessories to terrorism financing in Nigeria. The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit discloses in its 2022 National Inherent Risk Assessment of Terrorism Financing in Nigeria. According to the report, the assessment relied on data from intelligence, security, law enforcement agencies, Central Bank of Nigeria, Department of State Services, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, as well as various regulatory and supervisory agencies. Apart from ransoms, the report explained that terrorist groups derived funds from arms trade, donations from sympathizers, trade in dried fish, proceeds from seized farms and livestock, as well as human and drug trafficking, including sale of tramadol. Well, to give more insight into this development, Dennis Amakri, a former Deputy Director of Department of State Services, DSS, joins me now. Thank you very much for coming. Nigeria has been battling terrorism, especially in the Northeast, for 13 good years. How significant is this report in light of Nigeria's current security situation?
Well, you have to look at it again. For 10 years, more than 10 years, we've been fighting this. So if we have been fighting a particular enemy for more than 10 years, that means that he's fully being financed. He's being fully financed, and of course, he has the wherewithal to stand, to us, to the country, for those more than 10 years that he has been in business.
And now that the federal government is aware of these infractions, what line of action should we expect?
Well, the thing is that we have to do more than what we are doing right now. We cannot continue announcing and then not doing anything about it. Because when you know that there are terrorist financiers, arrest them. And then, of course, prosecute them so that they are ashamed. Everybody will know. And, of course, it will serve as a deterrent to others who are in that same business. But when you allow it to happen and it goes on and on and on, just 2 days ago now, we have even allowed this financing to go on. In fact, indirectly, you will say that we know those who are, besides the fintechs, even Nigerians are financing the terrorism. If you remember, just 2 days ago, Bello Toji, one of the terrorist leaders in Zamfara State, has levied a Gidam Goga, which is a very small village there, and asked them to bring 20 million. Otherwise, he's going to attack them. And they have paid him. They have paid him. And of course, this guy is still in Nigeria. What will he do with that 20 million? He will go and buy more arms. And remember, the president has just said that more arms are moving into the Lake Chad area. That means we indirectly or directly, we are actually financing this, because all those arms that are coming in are not coming in for free. They are just the monies used for either kidnapping or ransom payments and stuff like that.
Well, indeed, Dennis Amakri, former Deputy Director, Department of State Services, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. Moving on, President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate seeking for its approval to institutionalize and give legal backing to the Social Investment Program in Nigeria. Buhari, in separate letters to the legislative arm, also sought for creation of 10 new national parks across the country. According to the letters read on the floor of the Senate by President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, on Tuesday's plenary, Buhari explained that the passage will provide the enabling law for effective implementation of the NSIP, which is geared towards poverty alleviation of vulnerable Nigerians. In two other letters, Buhari is seeking for the consideration and passage of the National Library Establishment Bill 2022, which will provide the legal framework for maintenance of the National Library of Nigeria in line with global practices.
Dear Distinguished Senate President, transmission of the National Social Investment Program Establishment Bill for consideration. Pursuant to Section 58, subsection 2 of the Constitution, of the 1999 Constitution, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. I forward here with the National Social Investment Program Establishment Bill for the kind consideration of the Senate. The National Social Investment Program Establishment Bill seeks to provide a legal and institutional framework for the establishment of National Social Investment Program for the assistance and empowerment of the poor and vulnerable in Nigeria. While I hope that the request will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurance of my highest consideration. Concurrence of the National Park Declaration Order 2022. Pursuant to Section 18 of the National Park Service Act, I forward here with the National Park Declaration Order 2022 for the kind concurrence of the Senate. The National Park Declaration Order 2022 seeks to establish 10 new national parks. Please find attached the National Park Declaration Order. While I hope that the request will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate.
Lagos residents again woke up to another week of acute fuel shortage as more filling stations were under lock and key say they had run out of fuel. Meanwhile, the few stations were dispensing are accused of hoarding fuel, refusing to sell to motorists who have been on the queue as early as 5 a.m. While the reason for the scarcity is still unclear, Nigerians urge the federal government to find a lasting solution to the crisis. Our correspondent, Abisola Adebayo, went to the streets of Lagos to assess the situation and now files in this report.
Fuel stations locked. Long queues stretching into hundreds of meters causing traffic gridlock. This scene is definitely not new in Lagos. For the 10th time this year, residents of Lagos are back on long queues at fuel stations, spending productive man-hours waiting to purchase petrol, a product that seems not to be in supply.
It's been bad. I was here since 7 o'clock. Aside from Ikeja cantonment, it has been crawling because of the jerrycans they sell. You can see them there. The queue has been moving slowly and slowly. But it's so pathetic.
The station is very bad. It's very bad because I've been here almost 4 hours. I don't buy fare. Which I'm supposed to take it walking, but because of a fuel problem, I cannot walk.
The queue suddenly appeared in fuel stations across the state about a week ago, and it's gradually becoming a norm. Some of the stations we visited, including this one and this one, are without fuel. The few ones that have the product are selling at a hiked rate. The reason for the situation, however, remains unknown, but some consumers allege hoarding.
As you can see, you have seen the queue. So even they have, in fact, they have stopped. They are not selling fuel again now, as I speak. They have already stopped. But I think this is the cheapest filling station for now. They are selling 170 per liter, but other filling stations they are selling 250 per liter. As it is that they have already stopped. So maybe we'll look for some with that black market and get fuel.
As the situation puts majority of fuel users in untold hardship, black market sellers are having a few days selling as high as 3 times the normal price.
I'm trying to the east first of all. So when I got to the fuel station, a lot of queue and it's been locked up. Normally I'm selling at a rate of 250. So because of the queue, I'm in a hurry, so I have to park and buy from the black market. And black market now, that's at the rate of 350, which is very high. That's my car over there, so I have to hurry up and get the fuel because I need to leave here because I can't wait for the queue.
But in some other places, the situation is not the same. The manager of this station told us, as a matter of fact, that there should be no reason for scarcity.
We are selling our normal sales. We sell every day. At NNPC, we don't hold products. Once they supply us, we keep on selling, and customers know us for that. As they were giving us products, they give others. But I'm surprised that some of the stations they were not selling. Maybe they were waiting for price increasement or from government or whatever. As they supply us every day, we do sell. So I think they too, they were being supplied as well, because government have allocation for all the filling stations, and we are selling our own. Today we are receiving a truck, and it's almost finished. They were going to supply us another one before closing of the day. So we keep on selling every day. So we don't see it as anything. No price increment. As you can see, check our broad. We are selling our normal price, 169 per liters.
As Nigerians waiting on long queues for several hours begin to get impatient, disagreements start to break out in some places.
Although we're yet to ascertain the exact reason for this situation, fuel users in Nigeria, especially motorists that has been on the queue for hours, patiently waiting for petrol, are hoping that the federal government would find a lasting solution to this fuel crisis situation, especially as the dilated period approaches. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria yet to achieve 70% COVID-19 vaccine coverage. Details of the story and more right after this break. Welcome back to News Now. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The Federal High Court in Abuja sentenced the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali-Baba, to prison for a period of 3 months for disobeying a court order. The presiding judge, Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon, issued the ruling on Tuesday following a suit filed by former police officer Patrick Okoli, who claimed he was unlawfully and compulsorily retired from the Nigeria Police Force. We also told you that the federal government has linked fintech platforms, point-of-sale operators, and non-government organizations as accessories to terrorism financing in Nigeria. The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit discloses in its 2022 National Inherent Risk Assessment of Terrorism Financing in Nigeria report. But in case you miss any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, says Nigeria is yet to achieve 70% coverage for COVID-19 vaccination. Speaking in an interview on Tuesday, the executive director of the agency, Faisal Shuaib, explained that a total of 56,790,371 eligible persons targeted for COVID-19 vaccination have been fully vaccinated. It further added that 12,492,646 are partially vaccinated in all states of the Federation, including the FCT, as of November 25, 2022. While commending the COVID-19 strategy group for achieving 50% vaccination coverage in the country, he directed the team to intensify efforts towards the attainment of herd immunity. We'll take a breather now and return with more stories and business. To stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it. Use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Up next is Business News with Abisola Adebayo. Over to you, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says global tax rules are uneven, especially for developing countries. The minister said this on Monday at the 42nd Annual Technical Conference of the Commonwealth Association of Tax Administrators in Abuja. She explained that the current international tax rules were skewed against some countries, particularly developing nations, including Nigeria. According to her, Nigeria is committed to working with other jurisdictions and international bodies to achieve a win-win solution in the contentious matter. She called on the CATA to join forces with Nigeria in insisting that the skewed international tax rules be put in order for the good of all. We take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. Nigeria's equities market continued its losing streak on Tuesday, dipping by 0.24% to close at 47,322 basis points, as investors lost about 62 billion naira on the floor of the market today, bringing the market capitalization to 25.7 trillion naira. Nemeth International Pharmaceuticals, Nigeria Breweries, and other stocks led the market to a negative close, as they both recorded a combined 3 naira 86 kobo gain, and they led the list of laggards today. On the flip side, as our gainers list for today, Chams and Wapik led the gainers counter, recording a total 4 kobo increase, even though the 4 kobo did nothing on the market. Our market summary sees 120 million units of shares valued at 1.6 billion naira exchanging hands in 3,022 deals. Investors predicted a bullish trend on the floor of the NGX for this week, but it's the second day of trading and the market is still in the bearish territory. Well, we can only wait and hope that the week does not end in the negative. Moving on to selected stocks on the foreigns in the FTSE, the Dow Jones and the Nikkei. The FTSE rose on Tuesday with energy and mining stocks leading the rally and mirroring global gains, as the possibility of less stringent COVID curbs in China helped lift investor sentiment. Meanwhile, Wall Street, on the other hand, awaited investors lost ground as investors awaited guidance on the Federal Reserve's rate hiking path, while the dollar also slipped and all gained on hopes that protests in China could lead to looser COVID-19 restrictions. And Japan stocks Nikkei, just like yesterday, is still losing, recording a 0.48% decline. That's all on stock market reports. Back to Folashade for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Abisola, for that update. And on the foreign scene, the Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, says Russian President Vladimir Putin is trying to use winter in Ukraine as a weapon of war. Speaking to newsmen at the summit of NATO foreign ministers, Stoltenberg revealed that the Defense Alliance's members have delivered generators and spare parts to assist Ukraine to restore its destroyed energy infrastructure. The Russian military has been targeting Ukraine's power grid with airstrikes for weeks, leaving millions either without electricity or facing the prospect of a freezing winter without power. In sports, ahead of the opening ceremony of the 21st National Sports Festival scheduled to hold at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba from 30th November to 10th of December, the governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, says the state is ready to host over 1,000 athletes across the nation. Okowa made this known on Tuesday during an inspection of the new facilities built for the Games. A total of 11,000 athletes will participate in Delta 2022 National Sports Festival, which is about 2,000 more than the number that participated in the last edition held in Edo State.
The stadium and the facilities are all set for the game. I truly must appreciate the local organizing committee and also the contractor that did handle the project. There's no doubt that a lot of work has been put in since the last time that I came in, and you can see that everything is ready. They are just doing cleaning. The game starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow, and obviously everything is fully set. As concerns the issue of traffic, I'm sure that the local organizing committee must have looked into that. Luckily for us, inside for vehicular movement inside the Sabah, there are lots of interconnecting roads, so I'm not anticipating that we have any major hiccups.
Well, this is where we drop the anchor on our news bulletin, but many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogorinde. Bye for now.